One early morning on June 29, 1978, the dry, hot sunlight swept over Scottsdale, Arizona. In a suite at the Winfield Hotel, a young woman pushed open the half-ajar door. She had come looking for the charming television star, only to find Bob Crane lying silently in a pool of blood. A black camera cable was wrapped around his neck, and a heavy photography tripod was suspected to be the murder weapon. Tonight, let us walk through his true life amid the gentle glow of flickering firelight, and this story worth lingering over quietly. This murder not only uncovered the death of a superstar but also shattered the image of the warm next-door gentleman he had maintained on screen for decades. Inside his suitcase, police found piles of videotapes and thousands of extremely private photographs. Was he a photography pioneer indulged in new technology, or a lonely soul lost in the emptiness of fame? The truth lingers like faint noise left on a magnetic tape, flickering faintly in the dark, never fully clear. To understand Bob Crane's fall, one must first witness his brilliant beginning scorched by the spotlight. In 1960s America, he was the irreplaceable Colonel Hogan in Hogan's Heroes. He embodied the perfect image of a successful man of that era: neat short hair, an impeccable smile, and a captivating voice. Yet under the spotlight, Bob suffered a physical sense of boredom, rooted in his discomfort with being labeled a perfect idol. Before rising to stardom, he was a top radio DJ, accustomed to conversing with the world only through his voice in the dim broadcast booth. When he was thrust in front of high-definition cameras and expected to embody American positivity at every moment, he began searching for an escape. His escape started innocently enough, until he met John Carpenter, an electronics technician. Carpenter introduced him to a rare new gadget of the time, a portable video recorder. To Bob, it was far more than just technology. It was a magic box that could record, replay, and even preserve private desires forever. He began frequenting various clubs between filming schedules, always clutching the black device that made him feel secure. He never realized that the black hole capable of capturing light and shadow would eventually devour all his sunlight. The second half of Bob Crane's life turned into a labyrinth woven from magnetic tapes. He and Carpenter formed an eerie symbiotic bond. One used his fame and charm to attract others, while the other provided cutting-edge recording technology. They set up temporary dark rooms in hotels across the country, converting every reckless night into stored electronic signals. At a time when home video recorders were still rare, Bob even offered suggestions for the development of early video equipment. His obsession with technology resembled a psychological obsessive compulsion of autofocus. He could only feel his own existence when viewing the world through a camera lens. His second wife Patty tried to pull him back to a normal family life, but Bob could no longer resist the thrill of replaying recorded footage. He would discuss aperture and shutter speed over dinner, and study every expression of his own face in front of monitors late into the night. Fame became a key that granted him access to exclusive private parties unreachable by ordinary people. This lifestyle alienated him from mainstream Hollywood, and his career faded alongside his growing collection of videotapes. After Hogan's Heroes ended its run, he was forced to tour second-tier theaters across the country, with Carpenter always lingering behind him like a ghost. By early summer of 1978, Bob seemed to have a sudden urge to get his life back on track. He told Carpenter their peculiar partnership had to end. He wanted to repair his family relationships and save his crumbling career. This abrupt separation felt like a betrayal to Carpenter, who had long relied on Bob's fame and financial support. During his tour in Scottsdale, the two were often seen arguing loudly in late-night bars. On the evening of June 28, witnesses saw them drinking together again, trapped in an oppressive, suffocating atmosphere. Bob returned to his motel room, thinking closing the door would shut away his chaotic past. But in the cold light of dawn, the killer used Bob's familiarity with photography equipment to end his life in the most ironic way possible. There were no signs of forced entry, no stolen valuables, only a body tangled in camera cables. Police discovered tiny faint bloodstains on the inner door panel of Carpenter's car, but in an age before mature DNA technology, those stains could not deliver conclusive proof. These silent pieces of evidence left the case stuck in a decades-long deadlock. Bob spent his whole life recording everything, yet in his final moments, he faced a cold camera that never turned on. It was 1994, 16 years after the murder, when Carpenter finally stood trial in court. The trial felt like a public dissection of Bob Crane's private life. Grainy video clips from years prior were played in the courtroom, secrets Bob had never imagined would be laid bare to the world. Instead of seeing a victim, the audience and jury beheld a middle-aged man struggling helplessly with his own desires, unsettling to witness. Due to outdated and incomplete evidence, Carpenter was ultimately acquitted. He passed away quietly a few years later, taking the truth of that night to his grave. Bob Crane's son tried reanalyzing the blood evidence with modern technology, only to receive ambiguous, inconclusive results. This murder forever changed Hollywood's perception of celebrity private lives. Heroes who saved lives on screen could also harbor broken souls hidden away in dark rooms. It made people rethink the era of autofocus. When we record life, are we in a sense also suffocating it? Bob's reputation was forever tarnished by his videotapes. Every rerun of Hogan's Heroes reminds older viewers of the bloody aftertaste left behind in that motel room. He once longed to capture eternity through the lens, yet in the end, he lost all dignity because of it. The desert storms of Arizona seem to have buried all traces of that story. Bob Crane rests peacefully in a cemetery in Los Angeles, his tombstone engraved only with his name, making no mention of his tangled electronic secrets. From America's beloved star to an unsolved motel murder, his life spanned thousands of hours of videotape and countless out-of-focus moments. Tonight, as we remember the man with the warm smile, let us set aside the grainy videotapes and the heavy tripod. Let us simply remember Bob, a man who loved rhythm and technology, who once tasted true joy amid a life that need not be forced to remember. Beneath his glamorous on-screen persona lay a heart never truly understood, never truly at peace. The firelight fades gently. Outside the window, starlight twinkles softly, much like the faint blue glow of an old television on standby. In the quiet chapters of his life that linger softly, he finally stopped replaying the past and gained eternal stillness. Let yourself drift slowly into peaceful slumber along the lingering echo of this story. Good night, Bob. Good night to every soul guarding sincerity in a complicated world.